eyes sparkled in the same hue. She glowed. She was definitely too good to be true. "I can guarantee at least 3 minutes," he wrote, then sat back. There was no good reason a woman like her would need an app, unless it was because she was tired of being hit on for being gorgeous, which, frankly, he'd believe. For the first time in pretty much ever, he wished for more personal communication. A new message popped up. "So, what do you have against relationships?" He hesitated over a response. "I don't care for the drama," he typed, "or the rituals, or the expectations." "Ah," she replied. "A girl gets 3 minutes one night and wants 4 the next." Something like that. Actually, it was a lot like that. At one time, he hadn't hated the idea of a relationship. In fact, all he'd ever wanted was for someone to accept him for who he was, which sounded like a schmaltzy spiel of bullshit, but it was true. He enjoyed going out every now and then, and he'd hold a woman's purse at the mall if he had to. But having to outdo every other couple on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media platform was the rage at the moment burned him out. Permanently. If being in his own goddamned relationship meant he had to compete with everyone else's, then he'd be just fine alone. Except for one teeny caveat. Sex. "What about you?" he asked, not buying that you can't get a date. "I don't want a date. I want sex." "Well, okay then." "You could get that from anyone," he responded. "Why me?" "You're a mile away. It's snowing." "You keep impossible standards," he typed back. "And you're hot and straightforward, and you did promise great sex." "Anyone can promise that," he noted. "Actually," she replied, "I'm pretty sure no self-professed computer geek has ever promised great sex." He rolled his eyes. "And here I was thinking the self-professed hacker would appreciate my skills." "I plan to," she said, "for the entire 3 minutes." Well, hell. This was the part where he should promise her a few hours. But if she looked anything like her picture, he'd be better off promising her a few rounds. And he could only pray the first one lasted 3 minutes. He pulled up her profile again, still suspicious. There wasn't much there, so the repeated glances were futile. "You don't seem worried about hooking up with someone you've never met," he typed. "Are you crazy or just adventurous?" Her answer was immediate. "Do you want to find out?" Did he? That was why he was online, though he certainly never expected he'd find anyone like her. She was too perfect. Not just physically attractive, but also in a field of work closely tied to his own, if there was any truth to the hacker girl statement in her bio. While he didn't need to have anything in common with Olivia, if they actually had a conversation versus creepily not speaking at all, there was something to be said for shared interests. He'd had plenty of dates with women who lectured him about how boring computers were, that he should get out and live a little. These were, of course, the same women who couldn't peel their eyes from their smartphones. But that point was seldom appreciated when he voiced it. But it probably didn't matter. People didn't use hookup sites in search of sparkling conversation, especially not him. He caught himself looking over his shoulder, half expecting to catch one of his brothers-in-law doubled over in laughter on the fire escape. Instead, he got an eyeful of the neighbor's yellow-eyed, helter-skelter-faced, crooked-fanged mini wildebeest the old woman called a cat. And yes, he jumped. Then he swore. That thing should be in a zoo or a freak show. Behind the questionably feline facade, snow fell. Grady had no idea why that woman let the cat out in this kind of weather, but he wasn't inclined to let the thing freeze, even if it was the ugliest, creepiest excuse for a cat he'd ever seen. Unfortunately, Mrs. Harmon had a habit of smacking him with her purse when her precious Mortimer found his way into Grady's apartment, which made him wary of rescuing the cat. At least immediately. He glanced back at his computer. The cursor blinked, and he realized there might very well be an actual...